Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. We're here. We're rolling. It's summer. I can't believe July is halfway done with. Absolutely insane. Just crazy to think about, man. This summer's going by too fast. I need to play more golf, and just not. I'm not getting as many rounds in as I want, but I'm still getting some play in, which is good. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know, brought to you by Titleist Vokey SM9 wedges. The Vokey Design SM9 wedges are a product of superior handcrafted technology, each one an instrument of creative control, created from the most advanced materials, engineered to deliver ideal flight and spin, with grinds designed to release your best wedge play possible. There are many ways to make a wedge, but only one way to make a Vokey. Titleist Vokey Design SM9 wedges. Superior handcrafted technology. Find yours at Vokey.com. So yeah, check out the Vokeys. I've been going through that. My SM850 is still in the bag. I got that just like won't go away. It's just such a great wedge. But anyway, hopefully you guys having a good week. I'm having a good one here. It's solid. I've got a lot of golf on the horizons. I played Tuesday, subbed in my buddy John's league. He kind of gave me the last minute text that was like, "Hey man, come play." And I was like, I asked my wife. She's so gracious and let me go. I'm going to play tomorrow, Friday, with a guy here in the office, and then I'm going to try to go play Saturday morning early, which I think it's just going to be myself. I was hoping one of my, brothers-in-law would come with me. Unfortunately, he's got some plans, so he can't make it, which is a bummer, but I'll probably get out and play anyway. I've been playing a lot of stuff, and yeah, I've been tinkering a good amount, so got some irons running through, trying to figure out what irons are going to be in the bag, and got two just stupid good competitors, and it's going to be really, really close. So excited to see where that kind of goes. I'm going to go ahead and try to figure that out. And I think tomorrow. So the new irons I've been talking about. I didn't know how much I could say about them, and I can tell you that I have them. So I have the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. I went and got fit right before the Rocket Mortgage, the Wednesday before the Rocket Mortgage. So that was the very end of June, I think. It was like the 28th, 29th, something like that, whatever it was. And then got them built and shipped, and they showed up kind of the week after 4th of July. So it was quick. They got those things in and out really fast. But I've got a really cool combo set. I can't wait to talk about it more, but hit these things really, really well. But I've got basically a T200 4 and 5 iron, and then T150 through the rest of the bag. And it was really cool going out there getting fit. I went over to the local Carl's. All the guys from Titleist were there doing fittings. It was pretty awesome. Got fit into that combo set. The T150s, it was kind of interesting because I hit the T100s, the 150s, hit the 200s, even hit the 300s just to hit them. And it was pretty interesting because I thought, I'd be teetering between that 150 and 200 line. But the 150s I was just extremely consistent with, and I was hitting them really solid. So those were it. And then, I got fit into those, and the shaft I got put into was a steel fiber 110 in stiff, standard length, standard lie, all that. And so far they've been really, really good. So went out and played my league last week and shot even par 35, which was really solid and just struck it well everywhere. I didn't even make any putts. I mean, I three putt bogey number 3. I hit, and then I made a bogey on this. Was it somewhere else? I made 2 bogeys. I made a bogey on one. I kind of hit a wedge thin and got to the back of the green, and I didn't hit a good wedge shot down the hill, but made 2 birdies, 2 bogeys, and played really, really well. So I can't complain there. But hit those really well. And then I've got the Vegas, the Vega Mizar Tours with the Axioms, which are, man, I'm starting to get really comfortable with those, because it did take a little bit with those Axioms, as I said on the last show, to get used to, firing the, kind of releasing the club, releasing, trying to hit it left, basically, because I try to hold off everything, because I snap hook stuff and trusting it. And once you do, those things are really, really good. So it's going to be a tough battle here between irons, and it's going to go kind of down to the wire. So it'll be interesting. Then I'm going to play the Mizar Tours, or maybe I'll play the T150s again in my league, and then I'll probably play the Mizar Tours on Friday. And then who knows on Saturday what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and forth or something. It's going to be tough. I'm going to have to get a lot of rounds in order to get myself dialed in and figure out what's going, because then beginning of August, I've got the guys trip, as we call it, the Sragwa. It was named our big outing, 16 guys. We go up, this year we're going to Shanty Creek, which is pretty cool, and we'll go up there and we kind of play a little Ryder Cup style match. I'm one of the captains of the team. The other captain is one of the guys in the group, Wes. We've both been in, I think, the group since 2019. I think this is our 5th year, basically, or 4th year. Well, no, it has to be our 5th year, so maybe 18 or something like that. But either way, we're doing that. So I've got to be dialed in for that because, as much as it's competitive, but it's also like fun. I mean, you have a few beverages, you drive around, but you got to, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants their name on the trophy, and my name's been on that trophy out of 4 years. I think it's been on there 3 times. So I think I won the first 2 years, then lost, and then won again last year. So I want to win as a captain. I definitely do. So it'll be a lot of fun. But I've got stuff dialed in before there. I mean, even though I bring 2 bags down there, 2 full bags, 2 full sets, if not 2 to 3 drivers, and maybe an extra driver shaft or 2. I bring all that stuff down or up with me. I typically try to play, somewhat of a reasonable set. And we play 36, 36, 18. So 36, 36 is tough to kind of run. I mean, sometimes depending on your tee time, you can run back to the car and make a swap or something like that. But usually it's like the next day. So typically what happens is I'll putt like poorly on like day 1, throw the other putter in the bag on day 2, maybe putt a little better, and then Sunday maybe switch back or something. Like I'm just like kind of a head case there, and then if stuff really goes wrong, I will switch up even more stuff. But Shanty's going to be it's a little tough because unlike some of the resorts in northern Michigan, you kind of have to either get shuttled or you have to drive around to the courses. They're not like all like we went last year to Garland. To Garland, you basically, you're at basically every course is right there, so you just drive over to the start and go. So you kind of always meet in a central location, so you can switch out clubs or get lunch or whatever. But Shanty's a little different, so it's going to be a little more difficult to switch out clubs. So I better be a little more confident in what I've been playing. But I'm excited, and both sets of irons are really, really solid. So we'll see how those go. And I've been doing a bunch of other tinkering. Been messing around. If anybody knows a good deal on a loft and lie bending machine, please let me know. I'm looking for if somebody's like shutting down a shop and needing to get rid of something, let me know. I'm in the market. The one I had a Mitchell Digital for a while, and it was actually one of the guys we work with here, and he is kind of putting together his little shop. So he asked for it back, and I was more than a little bummed, but giving it back to him. A little bummed to hand it over, but it's all right. So if anybody has a line on a good one, let me know, or something that's decent that isn't crazy expensive. I'm looking to add one back to my shop. So that's a little bit of a bummer. One change in the shop that I'm a little bummed about, but it's all right. I will figure something out, to go forward. And then we've been hitting some stuff. Been out there hitting a bunch of stuff. And most of it, focused on irons, but a couple other things I've been messing with as well. And one of them I've been excited to hit, and kind of shocked. It was a little different than I thought it would be. But the first thing I will get into is brand new driver shaft that we've been messing with, and it is a brand new shaft from VA Composites, and it is called the Synystr. So the Synystr is the newest shaft from VA. And it is a mid-low launch, lower spinning shaft, and which is pretty cool because they don't do as much, kind of low launch, low spin stuff as some of the other companies do. They tend to, have stuff that's a little higher launching, but this is definitely something a little different and very cool. The paint job is kind of a gloss black with a kind of splatter type graphic on it. And then on the back side or the upside, there's a little like green face on there, and it's pretty cool. The graphics, VA always does an awesome job with graphics. The rest of the thing is all just gloss black. They're doing these in wood shafts and iron shafts. So I do have an iron shaft as well that I'm just putting in a head, gluing up. So I'll be testing that in the future here, very shortly. But excited after hitting the driver shaft, I'm excited to hit the iron shaft as well. But this bad boy here is the Synystr, and it's basically they're kind of mid-low launching, low spin shaft, and they make it in a 55, 65, and 75 gram options. So you can get basically stiff and a regular stiff X in 65, regular and stiff in 55, and the 75 comes in stiff and X. So, and they play pretty true to their weight. The 65X is 66 grams, and I've basically installed, of course, my all-fit adapter in there, so I can play it in just about every head. And I think I played this thing in about every head I've got. Just about. Maybe not every head, but I've played it in at least like 4-ish heads, maybe even 5. I think I played it in 5. But first off, the graphics on it really cool. I really like the look. Like I said before, I think VA, they nail graphics on their shafts. They just do cool stuff. And, you know, for some people, they're a little busy, and I get it. But other people, they are not. And it just depends, I guess, on the person and what you're, what you're into. Me, I think they do a really cool job, and I think the stuff is pretty fun. And, you know, in terms of distracting, when you've got it down, like logo down, you see a little bit of green, a little bit of the paint splatter kind of scheme on it, but it's pretty minimal, and it's not distracting at all. Once you start playing it, it's not a big deal. But have this thing here, and basically playing it at 45 inches in just about every head. It changes with all fit. It changes about 1/4 of an inch sometimes between drivers, but nothing that you really notice. So looks and everything are really cool. Really love the look. And then getting it out there, it is definitely mid-low launching, lower launching than I thought. Again, I've hit a handful of VA composite shafts. Always loved the feel. They were always a little on the higher launching side, which is for me is great. I typically hit a flat ball, so for me that works out really well. The Synystr is definitely the lowest launching of any of the VA composite stuff I've hit. Now, I've never compared it to like the Regine Black, which I guess is their kind of low launch, low spin shaft, but compared to the Nemesis, the Regine 2.0, hitting all those, this thing is definitely the lowest by far. Kind of shockingly low. When I first took it out, I think the first round I played with it was at Bella Vista, and I think I had it in, I'm trying to remember what head I had it in. It might have been TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus, my custom, my Stealth 2 Plus that I did. That's like white, gold, and purple. Which actually matched the shaft really, really well, which was pretty cool. But put it in there, and I was just hitting kind of low flat bullets everywhere. Just boring trajectory, but never really getting the ball super high, but still getting it out there pretty far. And it was super consistent. Like most VA shafts, super, super smooth. Even though it's kind of a stiffer, lower launching shaft, still really smooth. It actually loads pretty easily. I would actually kind of compare it to something like a Ventus Black. It's got a little stiffness to it. The tip section is definitely stout, and like I said, with that driver, I was just hitting kind of low bullets all day, and it worked out. I hit a ton of fairways with it. Was really consistent, and I really liked how it flew. I just needed to kind of go up and loft a little bit. So I basically played it there. Was really happy with how it played, and then I went through, put it in my TSR2 head. I hit it a little bit higher. Nothing crazy, but I hit it a little bit higher, and said, okay, it's just kind of going to be low launch. I then tried it in the Cobra Aerojet LS head, which I kind of knew was going to be a tough one, just because that's such a low spin head, and it kind of stuff comes out a little flat. And yeah, it was just too low there. And then just recently, I put it in the standard Stealth 2, 10.5, and I actually turned it up one notch from there, and that was like kind of the magic sauce. Like, that was fun. And so I had to loft up a little bit. I think when you move up in this, it's 0.75. So if that head was exactly 10.5, we'd be playing about 11.25 degrees. And when I was had it there, I then I finally started hitting some really good drives with it, hitting it high enough, getting a lot of carry out of it, and honestly, really took away a lot of the left. I mean, I think for me, that big snap hook when I come over the top and you know, kind of hit down on it and hit it left is just a scary shot. I want to say I did that maybe once with this shaft. Everything else was either dead straight to even hitting a couple shots that were kind of fades. When I had it out on Tuesday, I had it out there and I hit a couple shots that I wasn't even thinking about the right side of the rough or anything like that, and hit a couple balls that just, you know, either faded a touch or just started out a little bit right. And this thing really did take away a good amount of the left. Miss hits are really stable. Hitting it off the toe, hitting it off the heel, ball stayed online really, really well. You know, did you lose a little bit of yardage? Yes, but a lot of that has to do with, you know, striking on the head. But the consistency of the shaft and keeping it in the fairway or close to it, you know, just in the rough, you know, was really, really good. It's the first shaft in a while, other than maybe like Ventus TR Black and like the Project Deck Hazardous Green Smoke or Green Smoke RDX. That's just, you know, those two are just so crazy stiff. They're just not for my game. This is about equivalent in terms of protecting from the left side. It just took away a lot of the hook and the draw that I saw, and a lot of balls were straight, and even saw, you know, a little bit of fade here and there, which with most shafts I haven't seen that in a while. So really, really stable and impressive. Once you get the launch right on it, at least for me, I mean, if you're a high ball hitter, you know, and this will bring down the ball, the flight a little bit, that's, you know, what it's meant for. For me, kind of having to add a little bit of loft to the head to get it to play as well as it did, was, you know, like, so once I found that, it was super solid. You know, all sorts of swings, whether you're kind of coming over the top, whether you're hitting up on it, all that, it just produces a consistent flight. It just really did. You know, if it was the Stealth 2 Plus head, I mean, yeah, the ball was low, whatever, I got some run out of it, but it was that shot every time. Like, it was just extremely consistent. I would just keep hitting that same drive. And then, you know, once I got into the Stealth 2 standard head, cranked up a little bit, same thing. It was just a really boring straight trajectory. And the nice thing is it kind of pierced through the wind really well. Even when I, you know, got the higher loft into it, there was zero ballooning, zero rise, zero anything. Into the wind, cross breeze, whatever. It just, the ball just kind of ran through that and had no problems staying online through anything. But a really good feeling shaft, really smooth. You don't get a ton of, you know, even on miss hits, you don't get a ton of harsh vibration or anything like that. But overall, just a really, really nice shaft. If you're looking for something mid-low, and I know maybe VA hasn't made a ton of stuff in that category for you know, some players, and if you're a real high ball, high spin type guy, you know, maybe you haven't really looked at their stuff because of that. I think now, you know, with the Synystr out there, I think, you know, it gives you a big reason to try out some of their stuff and demo it, because it's really solid and really consistent. You know, I've always been a fan of what they've been doing, and it just shows you that you know, they can make stuff that holds up for the bigger hitters. I think, you know, my measly kind of low 100s kind of swing speed, I think, you know, like I said, you know, I think I had to, you know, add some loft. I think the bigger hitters who carry, you know, the higher 105 to 110s, whatever, they're going to find this thing extremely playable, extremely smooth. And honestly, for being a kind of a mid-low launching shaft and low spin, it had a good kind of, you know, like lively feel and impact. I would kind of compare it a lot to kind of a Tensei 1K Pro White, you know, kind of had that type of feel to it, where you could tell it was stiff, you could tell it was really stable, but it wasn't crazy boardy, harsh in any way like that. You still feel like it is holding some good ball speed, and it played really well. I was really impressed with how this thing played, and just how consistent it was, and how many kind of fairways I hit with it was really kind of shocking, because I didn't kind of know what to expect when I first got it. A buddy of mine, Leaf, he's been playing this for a little bit, and he was kind of raving about it. And then, but he, you know, he hits a higher ball than me and stuff like that. So, you know, once I got it, I kind of didn't know exactly what to expect. You know, you always jump online, you look at all the specs, all that. But out on the course, it definitely launched a little lower than I expected. I thought, you know, for sure it would go a little lower than a lot of the, you know, TR Blues, TR Red, Mitsubishi 1K Blues, the stuff like that I've been hitting. I figured it would go a little lower, but it was noticeable. The window was definitely different. So, a really kind of different thing to hit, and pretty cool. And glad I could find kind of a head and combo that worked so well with this. And like I said, going to the Stealth 2 standard head and just, going up a little bit of loft, it made a big difference. And it's something that, again, I think if you're a higher ball hitter and looking for something kind of to kind of fit that void, I think the Synystr is really solid, and I think it offers some really high performance for from VA in a category that at least I haven't hit anything from them kind of in this mid-low to low trajectory category. But really good. I think I already said it as usual. That really smooth VA feel. I think all their shafts they've really made stuff that feels really good throughout the swing. So the brand new Synystr wood shaft. Again, this is the 65X that I was hitting. I don't have numbers yet. I'm going to get some numbers for it, but this time of year I'm just trying to get out the course as much as possible. So the launch monitor kind of stays down here in the basement, and I'm out on the course. And to me, going out on the course is where I'm going to find stuff that works and stuff that doesn't, because on the range with a launch monitor, sure, you can pound balls and you got 100 balls there, and there's no pressure to hit a shot or anything like that. When you're actually out on the course and you have one ball and that's it, you're teeing it up, you're hitting one ball, and that's the only shot you're hitting for that, unless you lose it. But you've got one shot. That's when you kind of tell if something works under the gun, and it worked really well. So really happy with this thing, the Synystr. If you go to vashafts.com, it's got a bunch more info on there in terms of what everything is, all the weights and flexes, and they make 85 regular, and 95 stiff, and a 110 S/X iron shaft as well. And I have one of the 110s. It's actually just off camera here that will be going in ahead shortly, and I'm pretty excited to hit that. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous about how high it's going to go, because you guys know I don't hit super high iron shots. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I'm excited to hit it, and after hitting this, I'm expecting a lot from it, because the wood shaft performed really well. So. Again, if you're looking for something kind of mid-low launch with really good feel and really consistent, I think VA Composites, the Synystr, is definitely worth taking a look. It is definitely a solid shaft, and something that is really good from a company that you may not have heard of yet, or maybe just haven't tried any of their stuff yet because it hasn't been the profile you're looking for or anything like that. But yeah, some really nice stuff in here. Really impressed with it, and definitely check it out. Like I said, vashafts.com, and check out the Synystr, SYNYSTR, which is kind of cool. They always do a little play on their stuff, and I always find that pretty cool. So this will here will definitely be going in some other heads. I actually am going to go. I want to throw it in my PXG Gen 5 12-degree head and see how it plays there. I think that could be really cool to see something that high launch head, really lower launching, low spin shaft. That could be kind of a cool combo as well to see how that plays. So that one will be definitely on the list to play here. Maybe I'll play that tomorrow. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Or today. I'm recording this Wednesday night, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow for the league and play that. That would be kind of a cool setup. So maybe I'll try that out. That'll be pretty interesting. So I'm going to tinker around a little more with this bad boy. It's definitely going to be in the rotation a little bit, and hit it in a couple more heads, couple more setups, and see how it goes. But really solid, shaft from VA Composites. Really impressed with that so far, and excited to hit it a little bit more as time goes on. The next thing we'll get into is one that kind of a club that I'm kind of shocked how many people have asked me about lately. I did a usual Instagram Q&A that I try to do every week. Did this one though this week on the main Golf WRX channel on Instagram, just because not everybody follows me on Club Junkie, and I like to do it on Club Junkie, but every once in a while, like once a month or whatever, I like to jump over on Golf WRX and do one over there too, just because it's fun to talk equipment with you guys. If you don't follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod, and then also if you want to watch this thing on like YouTube, search Golf WRX Radio, and you can find the Club Junkie Podcast on YouTube if you want to see my ugly face and see me throw some clubs in front of the camera, because that's about all I do. So, but doing that Q&A, and actually a few other times, been asked a lot about the PXG Battle Ready 2 putters. So the Battle Ready series is previously was the Battle Ready series was the kind of their highest tech and most advanced materials, technology, all that line of putters. So they have quite a few in the Battle Ready arena, and of course I had out on the course the Battle Ready 2 Bat Attack. So pretty interesting with these putters. They actually do. They're actually filled with a material. They're not just solid one-piece, like forged, or not forged, but solid one-piece milled putters. They actually have a cavity inside that is then filled with basically this molded S-core material. So it's injection molded. It's a polymer in there. And it basically allows, it enhances kind of the sound and feel, and then allows them to kind of move some weight around into the head as well. So pretty interesting concept to do that. Now the Bat Attack, it doesn't have a ton of room for stuff. I think there's going to be some just in the face and on all that. I know in some of the other models, they are kind of throughout the whole putter can be filled. Some of the big mallets and stuff like that. So very interesting in what they're doing. But took this thing out. I've actually played a lot of the Battle Ready Bat Attack before. I've got one with a Nippon NS Pro shaft in it. I've got one with the M16 half graphite, half steel shaft, which is the one that's in this Battle Ready 2. And I've really liked them. I've actually used them quite a bit. They're really heavy heads. I think I have them set up, and they're, I think one of them is like 393 grams. It's got some really heavy weights in it. And this one here came with twin 10-gram weights in the bottom. I swapped them out for some 17.5s, so it's really heavy, just like the my previous one. Again, it's got the M16 shaft that's half 3/4 graphite, 1/4 steel, maybe a third. But it's got the steel tip and then the graphite top for more stability there. And then this one here has the brand new grip, PXG grip as well. So this is the straight one grip, which is kind of similar to, a super stroke in a way, where there's no taper to it. This is just a straight grip, and it's probably the size, I would say in between a 1.0 and a 2.0. It's a little bit bigger than a 1.0, I feel like, in the hands, but not quite as big as the 2.0 maybe. But they've got a good feel to them. They've got this, the X from PXG kind of throughout the grip, and they've got a decent amount of tack to them. Even when it was hot out, hands were a little sweaty, they still had a good feel to them. So pretty interesting grips. They're doing a couple others, like a couple other shapes, doing a pistol shape as well that does flare out and have a little larger upper hand section, and then tapers down, and then they're doing the straight, and I think a couple sizes. So but pretty interesting. They redesigned the face as well. The face used to have this, the face did have this diamond kind of milling pattern. It's got a totally different one now. It's still diamonds on the front, but the diamonds are actually more, there's more material in between, or space in between them. They used to be a little bit bigger, a little tighter, and there wasn't as much space. This time they're milled in as like true diamonds. So just a little different face there as well. And you know what, out on the course, it actually the pyramid face pattern, and out on the course, it's actually a really nice putter. It's a little more crisp, a hair louder, a hair firmer to me than the Battle Ready 1. So the Bat Attack and Battle Ready 1 to me feels just a little bit quieter and a touch softer than this putter. But when I say that, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, people sit there and I think anytime you say it's a little firmer or whatever, people automatically think like, oh my gosh, it must just click like crazy and, whatever, it's super harsh. Definitely not. Feel and sound is still really good. Using basically Pro V1X, you do get a little more audible click off it. Nothing bad. It's not harsh in any way. It's just you hear just a touch more. Thankfully there's no ting or clank, or there's nothing really loud and obnoxious. It's just a solid click. And then the feel is, again, just a touch firmer. You get a little more responsiveness. Even though this face has less surface area to contact with the ball, you still get a little bit of firmer feel. At least it feels that way to me on impact with this putter. The overall shape and everything I really like. It's that fang style, or as everybody calls it, kind of the Odyssey, the number 7 style. I think PXG does a great job with the shaping of it. It looks really good. It is inverse colored, or not inverse, but it now is silver on the main body. The 2 fangs are still kind of the black tungsten, and then the neck stays black, so it's a little bit more colorful. I think some people would say, oh, it's more distracting. The other one was pretty much all dark gray and black. It doesn't bother me at all, honestly. The silver looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good with the black fangs. I've always been a big fan of just, the fangs on there being a way to frame the ball, and the longer single sight line on there was really good. So overall, I really like the look. Sound and feel, I actually like. It was easy to get used to. It took really nothing, and I wasn't necessarily caught off guard, because I first started putting with it down here on my little mat. And I could tell, instantly, especially because I had both, like I was ready to hit both. I could tell instantly it was a touch firmer, went back and forth between putters. You could definitely tell a little bit of difference there. If you don't have both, or you've never rolled the old one, I don't know that you'll notice a huge difference. And I think, honestly, the feel and sound and all that will be probably pretty good to you. If you have an old battle ready and you're going to kind of compare to the newest one, you'll probably notice a slight bit of difference there. This one here, as I said, I changed the weights out because it came with 10-gram weights, and the 10-gram weights were a little light. I wanted to go heavy. I play a short putter. This is 33 inches, so put the 17.5 grams in there, and ultra stable. I mean, all the weights on the outside, you can see the 2 movable weights are out there in the fangs, and this bad boy is extremely stable. When you have it down through the stroke, you can just feel that the putter just wants to kind of stay where it is. The M16 shaft is definitely stiffer than a standard steel. Not quite as stiff as, say, LA Golf, or one of the Fujikuras, or even the KBS GPS. It's not quite as stiff as that, but still definitely stiffer than a standard steel shaft, that you get in a lot of putters. So you feel like there's a little added stability there. You always feel like kind of where the face is throughout the whole stroke. And then putting with it, very, very stable. Mishits rolled really well. The roll on the ball came off really smooth. I think there is some improvement in the way the ball comes off on this face compared to the old one. I think it comes off a little more forward roll, a little less hop and skid. But I didn't notice that it came off fast. Like with the TP reserves from TaylorMade, it felt like the ball was going faster and going a little farther with the same stroke. This one here, it doesn't feel like there's really any added speed. It just kind of felt like there was a little more consistency coming off the face in terms of taking away some of that hop and skid, and getting some of that forward roll going really quickly. And even when you kind of miss it, out on the toe and on the heel, you kind of still get that same really good roll. That roll kind of happens, I wouldn't say anywhere you hit on the face, because I didn't hit it far enough out on the toe to really test like way out here, but I did miss it. I did get it out there on the toe and on the heel a little bit, and that roll is just really solid and really smooth throughout the whole the whole face. Accuracy when you miss it, really good. This head is now really heavy, but it is stable, and when you hit a ball and it's a little off the toe, a little off the heel, it still stays on line really well. You don't really give up the cup. If it's something like, a 10-footer, you catch it a little off the heel. If you give it enough speed, there's a good chance that you may make that putt. If you read it right. But if it's like a flat putt, 10-footer, and you hit it off the, just a little bit off the heel, a little bit off the toe, there's a good chance that your ball's still going to go in, as long as you got enough speed to get it there, because the head just doesn't feel like it wants to move, on impact. I would say, very similar to the Odyssey Tri Hot 5K and how stable that feels. This may not feel quite as stable as that, but it's pretty darn close. It really does feel like it's reduced twisting, and it doesn't want to move, and no matter where you kind of impact it on the face, that ball is probably going to go straight, or pretty close to darn straight at where you aimed, and then it's just a matter of, did you hit it firm enough, and was there enough speed off the miss hit to get it to the cup? Because if it did, you're probably all right. If you didn't, well, then it'll come up a little bit short. But the accuracy side of it, really good. Speed on those mishits, you do lose a little bit. I noticed, shots on the heel, you rarely miss any at all. It pretty much it stays there. I mean, as you get closer to the little, skull on the inside, you'll start to lose some distance there. But if you're just a little bit inside heel, that ball's still going to pretty much roll out to where it is when you hit it dead square. The toe, I noticed that it would drop off a little bit faster in terms of distance and how far that ball would go. Responsiveness on those shots was really good. You knew exactly when you missed it, the sound would change a little bit. You'd get a little bit more vibration to the hands. You knew when you struck it, not on the center. But overall, just a really, really good putter. And then the grip. So we got this new grip, kind of Super Stroke-esque. It's got a foam foam base, and then it's got this material on top. It's not crazy tacky, but it's really it still is very grippy. You have a good grip to it. You don't have to crank down on it or anything. And then when you do have it there, even in those hot days, because when we played, I mean, it's been 80s and humid. I haven't had any problem. I'm a sweaty guy, and I haven't felt like this is it's easy to hold on to. I haven't felt like this is tough to hold on to or slick or anything like that. The grip definitely has a little more. I'm trying to see where exactly the material is, because it's pretty cool. And then they do a few more grips as well, so you can I want to see exactly how many shapes or whatever that they make, because I know it's straight one. I think there's a straight one, straight two, and then I know there's like a pistol. So there's pistol 1, 2, and 3, and then a straight 1, 2, 3, and a straight XL. So you can get probably pretty big. This is the one, and honestly, it's a little bigger than kind of thought now, knowing that they go up to 3 and then an XL. So I mean, that XL's got to be kind of like one of those Super Stroke 5.0s, just the real big guy. But the 2 is definitely noticeable. I have a pistol 2 in a Brandon head, and that one there, I was out putting with it, and that one, like I said, a little more bulge in the upper hand, tapers down, still pretty comfortable in the hand. The straight one, though, the one size, I just really like. I mean, I'm a guy who plays a pistol 1.0 in my Bettinardi. This feels just a touch larger to me. It's got a different shape, I know, but feels just a little bit larger than that. But it's comfortable in the hands, and it definitely relaxes kind of the wrists and stuff like that. Can take away a little bit of that right hand for a guy like me that can get a little yippy under pressure, especially on some shorter, straighter putts. So that part is kind of nice. But I like the feel of it. I think they did a really good job. I think, if you're somebody who plays, that style grip or wants something bigger, I think it's a $10 upcharge for the grip. That's not bad at all. It seems to be pretty high quality. It seems to be pretty nice, and the traction on it seems to be pretty solid. The X pattern and all that is on there, a little deeper than some of the Super Stroke stuff. I know that the Super Stroke has the new the new Zenergy type texture to it. This texture is just a little bit deeper. You're going to feel it a little more in the hands. It's going to feel a hair more rough, but still really comfortable shape. It's kind of that rounded shape. It's kind of, I wouldn't say a pistol shape, but it's got kind of a flat top and more of a rounded lower hand finger pad section. So pretty comfortable. I like that a lot. The 2 is definitely noticeably larger. I kind of want to see what that XL is now, because it's got to be a pretty big monster. But these bad boys are really nice. They're making, just like the standard Battle Readies before, making quite a few different options, different head shapes. You're going to have a handful of mallets and a bunch of blades as well. So if you wanted something that's just, a standard blade, whatever, they're going to make the Brandon and the Closer. And I think both of those have a couple different neck options, much like this Bat Attack. You can get a plumber's neck, you can get a double bend, you can get a handful of different necks in these things. So when you go get fit and all that, if you like a head shape and you want a little more toe hang, something like that, you can usually get it in those putters. This one here is the Bat Attack with the plumber's neck, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see the toe hang on there. It's pretty minimal, nothing too much. It's a little bit away from being phase balanced, but it's got just enough flow there to change the feel of it a little bit. And as a guy who's used the Bat Attack before with the same hosel, and also playing a few more blades now. I used to be a face balanced mallet guy. I've liked having a little bit of toe hang and a little bit of that toe flow throughout the stroke. But overall, really impressed with the putter. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool piece. I think PXG did a nice job. They kept the shapes the same, and I putted really well with it. This was the putter that I had with me when I shot at league, when I shot even par. So I can't complain. I didn't make any crazy putts, but I also didn't miss any. I didn't miss anything short. Other than one hole that I 3-putted, everything else, and that was only honestly because I was putting uphill and just didn't hit it hard enough, and just was kind of a weakling and didn't get it up the hill high enough, and ended up making a 3-putt on one hole. But the rest of it I putted really well with. So and I putted really well with the bad attacks before. So this is something that just continues to kind of move on and putt well with. So overall, really impressed with it. I think it's cool. A lot of milling marks on there and stuff like that. These bad boys are not cheap. I think these are basically $389 to start, and then if you want to throw in like an M16 shaft and a grip, you can add another. I think the M16 adds $90, and then one of these new either pistol or straight grips, you're going to add another $10. So basically $488 for something that's truly customized. If you keep a standard grip with a steel shaft, that'll be $389. But a lot of options there to go with, between blades, mallets, all that. So they've got a bunch of different, and then each one has I think each one has its own its own options for necks. I don't know if any of them have 0 options. I think they all have at least a couple neck options. So pretty cool that you can get a head shape that you like with a neck that probably hopefully gives you the correct amount of toe hang that you're looking for. So if you go to pxg.com, check out the Battle Ready 2s. Really good looking putters. And the head cover I think ends up being pretty cool too. I know that some people, the skull thing is played out. I think it's kind of cool. It's got the kind of dancing 26 skulls on it, the skull with the 26 in the forehead. And again, I just forget what exactly that means, but it's pretty cool to see. So I think it's a pretty cool head cover. It is magnetic, which is always awesome because I hate Velcro covers, but this bad boy is pretty cool. And then it seems to be pretty well made and something a little bit different. So very cool with the Battle Ready 2s, but I'll be putting with this. This thing will be in the rotation for most of the year. I'm gonna have some fun with that thing. So that's awesome. And then I'm gonna do 3 today. I'm gonna do 3 things because the final one is gonna be a rangefinder, and I know oh boy, so sorry about that. That was dropping it on my desk on a keyboard. So I will try to go back and maybe edit that part out where I can maybe not have it so loud against your eardrums. So anyway, so I've got the brand new ShotScope Pro L2. So this is their brand new kind of budget friendly laser rangefinder that they came out with, but budget friendly meaning it's a inexpensive price, but they're going to load it up on features and quality. The first thing that I'll tell you, it's got a nice case. The case is solid, got some good elastic to it, but it's pretty hard. It's got that kind of quick release little strap on it, so if you have it connected to your golf bag or whatever, it's got a carabiner as well as an actual like canvas strap that you can put anywhere on your cart, and it fits pretty much anywhere. I've been using the carabiner a lot on my bag with my electric cart, but a pretty solid case. And this is a laser rangefinder that I want to get it 100% right, is $150, $149.99. So pretty inexpensive. I know some of the colors, I think they make it in 2 colors. This blue might be sold out, but they make it in gray as well. But overall, actually, it feels really good for $150. It actually feels really solid. I've felt some more inexpensive rangefinders out there, and some of them definitely have kind of that cheaper feel. They're kind of lightweight, kind of feel like they're made out of some flimsy plastic. This one's definitely plastic, but it's got a little rubberized texture through this whole back section where you hold it, so it fits in the hand pretty nice, and it's not slick or anything like that. It's got the stuff that you would want, magnet on the side, so you can attach it to the cart. It's got slope or no slope, so you have the option to turn that on and off. And it's just a quick little switch on there, so you can see kind of a green little section that you're using slope. You turn it off, and there's nothing there. So a quick little way to turn slope on and off. Single button on the top just to power it up and fire away. and then you have, of course, an adjustable eyepiece to kind of dial in the look through it, which is nice. I mean, a lot of nice features to have on a unit that costs $150, which is, even nowadays. I mean, yes, you can find some good deals on rangefinders, but $150 is probably one of the cheaper ones out there. So I headed out there comparing it a lot to my Nikon CoolShot 2 Stabilized. I think that's what the full name of it, which is a one that I love. I've used it a lot, and yardage wise, pretty much spot on. The only time the slope, the change of slope, you may see 1 yard different. Where one may, show take off 3 yards, the other one shows take off 2 or something, but it's really, really close. The one thing I do have to say I like that I didn't even notice with my Nikon, but I like with this, is that the Nikon would tell you -3 degrees or +4 degrees or whatever it is, or yards, sorry. It would say +4 yards or -5 yards or whatever, just have the yard. This one just gives you the yardage, slope and non-slope right on the thing. So if it says 156 and then with slope it'll say 158 or whatever, whatever thing. It's got the full yardage. You don't have to do the math in your head, which is kind of nice. Because that, as much as I didn't notice that, I didn't care. It was kind of nice as I was using it to be like, oh, you look at the slope and you're like, oh, it adds, just like 3 yards or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I don't have to do that math. And I know it's stupid to, you're adding 5 yards or adding 5 to 6 yards to 150. That should be pretty simple math. But it's kind of nice not to have to do it. You can just fire away and go. The jolt on here is really nice. It's got that vibration, that rapid fire detection, and that target lock vibration. It actually is pretty strong, so you can kind of feel it when you hit the pin. It definitely lets you know. It kind of gives you that good jolt that it's on it. And honestly, the optics are pretty good. The magnification 6x, which is just a little bit less than my Nikon. So it took a little, not getting used to, but it was a little different because I was going back and forth between them. And going back and forth, it was kind of weird because it would just look a little bit different. If you were only to use this, you wouldn't even notice. The optics are pretty clear, pretty crisp. They're a hair darker than my Nikon, not much. Just a hair overall, like the whole lighting in there is just a smidge darker. Bright days, you don't even notice it. On some, if you're playing Twilight or really late in the day, you may notice it a little more. The LCD screen is crisp, like the targets and all that are super easy to see, super easy to show. They are black. There's not an option to go to red, like I think there is with the Pro LX. This one here is just straight black, which is great. Works really well. Every once in a while you run into like a really dark background of like trees or woods, especially here in like kind of the Midwest. And it's a little harder to aim at that point, but that's any rangefinder that doesn't have like kind of that red optic or whatever. But it still looks really good. It's still easy to use. The one button, you just hit it and go. And yeah, overall, really, really accurate. Like I said, I would go out there and I would shoot a flag with both. And the actual yardage that it zapped was within maybe a yard, because that one does fractions of yards, this one doesn't. So it would basically show you, this would say 131 and that one would say like 138.9 or whatever. I mean, they were all really, really close. And the other nice thing is, from something I've seen people do is kind of like, the repetitiveness. How accurate can it be over and over? So I would shoot the flag multiple times. I actually went out my front yard and was picking out things and just shooting them over and over again between the two, just to see, and really consistent with yardages. If you shot something and it was 150, you shot it again, it was still 150. You shot it again, it was still 150. Like, you weren't getting something where you'd shoot it, it'd be 150, shoot it again, it'd be 148 or whatever. It was always that yardage. So, a solid rangefinder, for $150. There's not much you can say is wrong with everything. It's got a little heft to it. It's definitely not cheap, as I said before, cheap flimsy plastic or something that's super light. You can tell there's not a whole lot in there. This one's got a little heft to it, which is nice. It's kind of lets you know there's some quality materials and stuff like that. The only thing I would say, I would love to see the battery case on it, or the battery on it, be a little bit easier to kind of get. You kind of dig your thumb in to get the window open. I do like that they put a little strap in there so the battery doesn't, the lid doesn't fall off. You can't lose it, and then you can just replace your battery. But it's just a little hard to get at. And I know you're not going to change that much because, you're going to change a battery, maybe once a year or something like that. But the door is a little clumsy because the spot to get your finger butts up right against the lens, the viewing lens. And it's a little hard to get in. And I don't even have big fingers. So if you've got really big hands, that could be a little bit of a pain to get in at. But that's about the only thing I can say that I would change if I was doing something with this. But overall, the Pro L2 from ShotScope, really, really nice rangefinder for the money. So if you're somebody looking for a rangefinder on a budget but don't want to, get something that's low quality or inaccurate, this bad boy is really, really solid. So check it out. If you go to shotscope.com and check out the Pro L2, and it is a great little rangefinder. So check that out. And that's all I've got today. I've got my 3 items. I know usually I do 2, spoiling you guys, but that's all I've got. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Listen, if you're following on whatever podcast platform, whatever you're listening to, please like, subscribe, follow, whatever. I mean, I would appreciate it. I hate asking and doing that corny stuff, but please do. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing, man. If you could subscribe, like, whatever, love that stuff. I try to comment on all the comments that you guys put in there as well. And then also follow me on social at Club Junkie Pod, and it's always fun. I try to post a decent amount of stuff, but try to post some stuff there. So, anyways, that's all I've got. Hopefully, you guys have a good weekend. Get out, play some golf, and hopefully, you guys have a great weekend. And we'll talk next week.